Welcome to the Owners Club podcast, the show where we open the doors to real conversation with real business owners. I'm your host, Sean Ziari.
All right, I'd like to welcome Jordan Reyes, another Owners Club member. Hey, Jordan, glad you could join us.
Hey, Sean, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to talk to you. As most people know in the Owners Club, I'm looking to buy an RV here, and I know you are the RV guy, and Pace bought an RV from you. So I'm really excited to hear your story, where you started, how did you get there, how did you end up with doing a JV with Pace Morby. So I'll let you start wherever you want.
Awesome. Yeah. So how I got started is just by saying yes to the opportunity. I'm originally from California. I went to school in Montana. And when I graduated, I worked for Frito-Lay, and I always wanted to do something more for myself. I didn't want to be stuck in kind of this 9 to 5 role. And so I was searching for an opportunity, and that's when I got into well drilling. So we ended up just buying a drill rig and started drilling wells in the Central Valley. And that led to farming almonds. So then I farmed almonds for a bit. I also started an irrigation company and an ag tech company. And that's when I got into real estate 5, 6 years ago. And the way that I got into it was, again, just by saying yes to an opportunity. So I was looking for some office space for us personally and potentially renting it out. And so I met with a buddy of mine. We had lunch, and I asked him, "Hey, what does that look like? Can I buy a commercial building? Can you find me one? I don't really know anything about real estate." And he said, "Well, I don't really know anything about commercial. My specialty," he was a realtor, "my specialty is still flipping homes." And I said, "Okay, well, I thought that was the end of it. I'll figure it out some other way." But he calls me back and about a week later, and he goes, "Hey, I know that you know business and you know operations. I've always struggled with new construction projects. Like flipping is my baby. I love it. I want to do that every day. It's not much different, but I just haven't perfected that side of things. Would you want to partner?" And I said, "Sure, that sounds like fun." So that's how I got into real estate. I started doing new construction. We did infill development, basically from the Central Valley all the way up to the Bay Area in California, 30, 40 projects or so, single family, multifamily, and it was a lot of fun. And then COVID happened, and we were in our largest projects at that time. We were building a 22 unit and 160 mixed use. Development was, I had just spent probably the better half of a year getting approved, zone changes, text amendments, the whole nine. And that was a little bit of a tough time.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I decided to pivot, and I wanted to be where I wanted to be, which is in Montana. And so we moved back to Montana, and I started doing flips more to try and do it quicker. And then this is now about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. I was trying
2023 now. Okay.
Yeah, so I was trying to get into multifamily, and for most folks at that time, they had large funds behind them, and they were doing, a lot of cash deals. And I joined a couple of mentorships and groups, and I just could not figure out how to get it done
Mm-hmm.
effectively. Everybody was 3 caps, 4 caps, 5 caps, and debt was different then, but I still just couldn't figure it out. You were playing against, guys that were coming in just cash offers. So doing that, and I just couldn't figure it out, running into walls. And then I found these RV parks, and I've never even stayed in an RV park, but I thought, well, this is similar. This is like multifamily because there's multiple units. Why don't we just take a run at it? So I decided to put in an offer. We put in the offer, we get rejected. And the broker says, we just sold one around the corner at a 4 cap. And I'm thinking, well, if you guys just sold one, then why would somebody buy that over a multifamily? Like multifamily should be a little bit easier. I don't know much about RV parks, but I think that the numbers should be a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we lost against that kind of offer. But what happened was 2 months later, he comes back to me. So the broker comes back and says, and actually, we didn't sell it. Are you still interested? I say no. And he says, well, the owner actually has another one just down the road. And I said, okay, well, that's a little bit more interesting. And so what we ended up doing was we decided to put in an offer, and we negotiated for a couple of months. That offer turned into, it was $5 million. I'm sorry, $6.5 million, $500,000 down for both parks. This is kind of a combo package, and 4.5% interest. They sign. I'm super happy. This is my largest deal. I just negotiated seller finance. And then I realized I don't have $500,000. Oh, and by the way, I don't know how to run an RV park. And, that's kind of where it's just saying yes to the opportunity comes back into play. And I thought, well, I guess we'll just figure it out. Just by chance, I was in the parking lot when this happened at a meetup. And the saying goes, it's not what you know, it's who you know, right?
Who you know,
And
exactly.
so I decided to go to this meetup kind of off on a whim. And at this meetup, I meet Pace. I meet Pace Morby. And, I'm not
I've
in
heard of him.
SubTo. What's that?
I've heard of him.
Yeah. So I at this point I haven't. I've maybe seen a couple of videos. I just know it's kind of the social media stuff. I'm going basically for the group just as a meetup. And by chance he just says he was traveling at that time in his RV, and he says, I just told so and so, I can't remember who. I just told someone that we need to build an RV park because I can't find anywhere to stay. This is in Montana in the summer. There's not really many places to stay. So me
Because they're
being
full, right?
because they're full. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so me kind of being unabashed, just raised my hand and said, well, I have two under contract. Right. And so he's like, where are they? I'll buy those with you. And so in my mind, I'm like, yeah, okay. Been in the room. Like this is kind of for show. This is to do, for all the people. And I said, well, they're not here because we were in Bozeman at the time. I said, they're a few hours away. They're 5 hours away. So they're not here. And he's like, well, where are they? And I say, oh, they're in Kalispell. And he's like, I'll be in Kalispell on Saturday. And I'm like, interesting. He's like, text me and like, I want to go look at them. And so I'm like, okay. So fast forward, Saturday rolls around. I text him, and we end up going to look at the parks. And he's like, I love these parks. They're amazing. Like, let's buy them. And I'm like, okay. So then now I'm working with the team. I'm working with Bo. I'm working with Molly, with Heidi. And we end up closing both those deals. And so that's how I got into RV parks. And that's now our main focus right now.
Wow, what a great story.
Yeah.
Chances of meeting Pace at a RV park. Well, actually, it was just a meetup,
Mm-hmm.
but it is absolutely true. And, you have been in those rooms at the Owners Club, and it really is about the people in the room. At what point did you join SubTo and the Owners Club, and how was that journey?
So that meetup was in Bozeman on Thursday. I joined SubTo on Friday, rolled through the parks on Saturday, and closed on them. So I joined right after I met him.
You are an action taker. You don't hesitate, right? You just jump in. I love it.
Yeah. Well,
You're perfect for guys like me who has to have a checklist for everything.
Oh yeah.
It's sad. But go on, please.
I can't, I don't know. Maybe it's mistakes or whatever. I can't operate that way. I'm too scatterbrained or whatever, but
You're made differently.
yeah.
Lean into it, brother. You're doing great. Keep
And
going.
that's why I say just say yes to an opportunity. I say yes to a lot of opportunities that don't go anywhere. Those are the stories that aren't really told, right? But
Mhm.
I would say that every chance that you don't take, you're has zero opportunity, right? There's no chance. So I just say yes to the opportunity, and we'll figure it out. We'll pivot as we move and we go, and figure it out.
That's fantastic. If you don't mind, I'm gonna little pick at those what you just said in a few minutes ago.
Sure.
Uh, what was the biggest thing you learned from that interaction with Pace and your first deal in RV park? It sounds like it was a life-changing event for you, but was that the biggest? What was the biggest takeaway? Someone who's listening would say, okay, Jordan learned this.
My biggest takeaway was there was a couple of things. Could I have probably done it on my own? I probably could have, right? I probably could have raised the money, although I hadn't done it before. I was confident that I would have been able because it was a good deal. It's a good deal. I was confident that I probably could have. And to that point, I had really been flying solo. I remember having a phone conversation with one of my really good buddies and saying, I'm not really sure if I want to partner with Pace at this time or do it on my own. Like it is a really good deal. And I remember just thinking to myself, I don't want to do this alone. Like I don't want to have to go through all this struggle. Like what's the fast track? How can I figure out how to learn? I don't even at this point now I'm like, I don't even care if I make money on this deal. I just want to be around. I want to learn. And so that's what I decided to do. And my biggest thing is collaboration over competition. And I think that's what embodies SubTo, especially an owners club. And that's what sets it apart. Because I've paid for a lot of mentorships. I've been in a lot of rooms, and there's not really anything like it. That collective of people, and that's what I felt that very first day at that meetup, and that's why I joined the next day. I was like, I think this is something different. I want to be around more of these people, and I think that biggest takeaway is just collaboration over competition. And again, it's the who, not the how. So, fast forward now when we're running our other parks, I put our operator, in touch with Jenny, who operates the other parks with Pace. And so it's very, very collaborative. Now we're sending people there, they're sending people to us.
Nice.
So that would be my biggest takeaway is not having to do it all by yourself. It's a team sport.
Very nice lesson to learn. Hey, if you're enjoying this podcast, give us a thumbs up and click follow so you will get notified when the next owner joins the podcast. And please comment below and let us know how we can improve this podcast and how we can bring more material and information that is relevant to you and that you want to hear. So, Jordan, back to Owners Club. I talked to a lot of Owners Club, and everybody, I'm always fascinated by how they see mentorship and how is that different with the SubTo, the Gators, and finally with Owners Club. I'm a Gator. I started as a Gator and then went into the Owners Club. So talk to me about what is SubTo like and why did you join Owners Club? And you were at our first meeting in Monterey last week. And how did you feel when you were in that room?
So I think I always had a tough time paying for education. I'll just be honest with you. I didn't pay for college, right? I don't know that I would have gone if I wouldn't have, played sports. Um,
What
and
did
and
you
so
play?
I played basketball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what that would have looked like. I think coming from, like my background, I don't know if we would have been able to do it. And so I always had this interesting relationship with what I thought I was paying for. I could just watch a YouTube video and get it for free and and that's why I was kind of that lone wolf. I was trying to, I had business partners, but it wasn't as collaborative. And we didn't share things outside of like the company or the people that we were working with. And so I think that the major difference, and I did try other ones, and I was always very, very hesitant when it came to, oh, I know what's going to happen. This is a funnel, and we're going to have to. At the end of it, you're going to say, hey, pay this $9.99, get into the room, do the thing, and so that's what it felt very, very transactional. Hey, you get 6 months, you get a year, you're done, and so when I joined SubTo, um, it was just completely different. And the people are different. The caliber of person that's in there is typically different. Not to say it's all perfect. I'm not going to say everybody's perfect, right? But it was just more of a collaboration over competition, and I really enjoyed that. To take the next step is to be an owners club, and that is again a high level person who is wanting even more. So I think that sometimes people think that joining SubTo is an easy button, and it is if you are going to work at it. Right? Things in this world, in this real estate world, I think are very, very simple. Simple does not mean easy. So you're still going to have to work at it. You're still going to have to do the activities, which are simple activities, but it's not easy because it's consistency that needs to happen. And so I think for people that are definitely in owners club, they see that, they know that, they value that, and they're just trying to level up. And those are the people that I want to be around. And so that's why I joined, and that's why I continue to support what we're doing.
For those who are watching and listening, why aren't you in SubTo? You really should. If you're interested in real estate and following a group of people that do it right, a community of real estate investors, as Jordan just mentioned, the room, the people in the room is actually what matters. So join SubTo and join us as Owners Club if you want or you should. Thank you, Jordan, for that. Tell me, how are you finding these RV parks? Are you more of a, hey, let me reach out to brokers, or are you a direct to the seller or the owner of the property?
So a little bit of both. The last couple that we bought our broker. We are working on two more in Wyoming right now that are direct to the seller. And once again, in SubTo and even outside of the community, once you tell the story and people see you're actually doing the thing, it gives you credibility. Now, obviously, me being partnered with Pace gives you credibility straight away. And so people know that. And they will now just bring us a lot of deals. So we have a ton of deals to work through. We are building up more and more capabilities as a team. And so where it used to be and where it is today are a lot different. I used to be hunting the deals and then doing the entire process. That's not where it is today. We get a lot of deals brought to us. We underwrite a lot of deals, and then I'm really coming in at that last hour to negotiate, because that's what I do best is I create the opportunity, the relationship, structure a deal. That's what I do best, but that's also what I enjoy the most. I enjoy the people. I enjoy creating a win-win situation. And even from a buyer to seller relationship, it's collaboration is how I feel. I had a meeting yesterday with another park owner, and I said, hey, at the end of the day, we were structuring it in a seller finance. At the end of the day, I want to make sure that we can make the payments when we run the numbers, that we're making sure that we pay you. And what that means to me is I don't want to come back to you in a year and say, hey, it didn't do what we thought it was going to do. We have to renegotiate. Will it happen? Does it happen? Sure. But it's not our goal. It should never be anybody's goal. And so I just said, hey, I'm going to be very open and transparent with you. This is not what I want to do. So I need to make sure that the numbers are exactly what you say they are and what we think we can do, so that we have a relationship. Because at the end of the day, I don't want it to be just this one deal, this transactional relationship. I want to be able to call you for whatever in the future. Maybe we partner on another deal. Maybe we can do something else. Basically, we're friends at that point. And so that's what our goal is in basically everything we do. But to answer your question, is we do both ways. We get them broker. Now that they know that we deliver, we close on deals, they will just bring it to us, even if it's off market. And then wholesalers are people that are working on acquisitions, bring us deals because of the same thing.
Yeah. One of the things I love about this community and what is pushed is, it is about relationship. It's about people. So take care of the people. Be fair to seller. If you're the buyer or if you're selling, be fair, because you don't want to screw somebody out the first time. That's not a good way to start a relationship, right? So you always want to be, just like you said, you want to communicate, be transparent, and things like that, which is fantastic part of being in this community. Jordan, I want to ask you about, you mentioned SubTo, we mentioned SubTo and creative finance. For those who are listening and are not in this community, kind of give me a brief idea how your transactions are typically structured. Like what percentage does the owner finance and how else you getting the money put together? Maybe talk about some private money lenders or capital raisers.
Yeah, so a lot. I mean, every deal is different. We've actually bought a couple of businesses as well, and we structured those basically as zero down. We're coming in, we're going to operate, we're going to help this thing grow, and then we're going to have a profit split, and then with an exit strategy. So that is a side note. That's another creative way of doing it.
Wait, stop. You're telling me that you bought a business and you
Mhm.
didn't put a penny down?
Correct.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I hope everybody reaches out to Jordan Reyes and learns from this guy. All right, continue. I had to just jump in there and let people know how amazing that is. You bought a business and you didn't
Mhm.
use your own money. Go on.
And then we are actually doing that same thing with a couple of RV parks. So again, I think my specialty, my superpower is creating the relationship and then the opportunity for our team and then structuring the deal. And so, the way that most of our deals are structured are 95% of them are creative, and especially in the RV park and the business side of things. But most of them are I would say 5 to 8% down that we're giving the seller. And then we are typically 5% or under on interest rate, typically over a 30-year term. Some of them have balloons, some of them don't, but they're usually 10 years if we are doing a balloon.
And Jordan, for those who are listening and hearing you say those numbers, let's say they live in, I don't know, Nebraska, and they
Mhm.
come across a RV park owner who has those, is willing to sell with those criteria. How could they reach you and tell you about the RV park in Nebraska?
Yeah, if you have a deal and you want some help with it, you need some help underwriting it, you want to partner on it, or you just want to sell it, wholesale it, you can send me a message on Instagram at the underscore Jordan underscore Reyes or on our website, jordanreyes.me.
We'll have that at the bottom of the screen later on, and we'll have a link to it in the comments. Uh, So if you're not using your money, where is that money coming from? The down payment, and tell me about private money lenders and hard money lenders.
Yeah, so a couple of deals, we don't need any money down. So it's coming all from the seller. The alternative method is partners. And so we have capital partners, we have people that are in on the deal that are bringing money. They might be too busy, they might have other things going on, they don't know, they don't want to operate or they don't know how to operate. Essentially where I was on my first park. And
Mhm.
so again, I will revert back to what we've been talking about is the who, not the how, and then establishing relationships and good partnerships. And so getting to know people, spending time with people, their needs, their wants, their wishes, and seeing how you can collaborate together and how you both can win. Um, I wouldn't say it's necessarily an easy task. It does take time. It takes relationship building. And so that's how you can do it.
That's fantastic. Personal opinion, the who's are in the SubTo community and in the owners club. So if you want to find that who, they're in that room. So join up, people. Let's talk about that RV park in Nebraska. Let's say I'm a really smart guy, investor in Nebraska. I'm so smart. I chose the Longhorns over the what are they? Cornhuskers, whatever they
Yeah.
are. And I want to invest with Jordan Reyes because I think he's a badass. Could I invest 10, 20, 50? How would I go about just being participant with you? I don't want to give Jordan Reyes money because I think he knows what he's doing with the RV park. And I've always wanted to have an RV park in Nebraska because I'm a smart Longhorn.
Yeah. I would say that the same way you can reach out to us on our website or on my Instagram. But the first thing and the most important thing is that we want a relationship with the person. This is not going back to even previous conversations that what we've been talking about. It's not transactional to us. There certainly is that component of it.
Mhm.
And my relationship with money has changed. And so I used to think of money as, kind of you like save it and hoard it and it's like yours type of deal. And now I've realized money is simply a tool that we can use.
It's a concept. It really
It's a
is. I
concept.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No. And you're exactly right. And it's taken me obviously a while to kind of figure that out. It's only happened in the past year or so. But that's only one thing that somebody's bringing to the table, right? Somebody's bringing the money, somebody's bringing the shovel, somebody's bringing the idea, right? But at the end of the day, we don't want just the tool. We want the person that's delivering that tool. And so we want to establish that relationship for another reason. The other reason that we want to establish that relationship is it makes it so much more fun doing these things together. I could own one park by myself, run it, operate it, do all the things, and make good money doing that. Or I could own 20 parks with 50 different partners, and now we're all leveling up. And
Love
so
it. Yep.
nobody wants to be on the mountaintop alone, right? Like if your goal is to have a boat or have a car, have a nice car or something, how fun is it if you're just the only one that does that? Right? You want to do that with your friends and enjoy the company or enjoy the family that you have. So that's the other reason that we want to establish the relationship.
Absolutely. I think that's what's beautiful about what you're saying is you want to teach the next person to learn how to use that shovel. Let's be part of this community and let's go do bigger and better. If you're
Mm-hmm.
the only one using that shovel, oof, man, it's hard, right? So learn the tool and learn how to pass it on. And I think that's what distinguishes this community from other investment vehicles, the funds or uh, we, uh, I'm saying, Jordan Reyes and me, when I talk to investors, is we want to build a relationship and we want to understand what is your goal with that investment. And I always ask, people ask me, is this a good investment? And my answer is always, well, that depends. What else are you invested in? So understanding the person and partnering up is an important part of what Jordan does and most of the people in Owners Club. Oh, Jordan, you sound like you're doing a lot of exciting things. What does the next 12 months look for you? I mean, what are you excited about the most in this coming year as an Owners Club member?
I am most excited about us scaling and doing more deals with more cool people. Again, just going back to what we just talked about was like
Mhm.
we want to do cool things with cool people and enjoy good company. So that's what I'm most looking forward to over this next year when we're probably going to buy 5 to 7 more parks.
Right. I see a pattern here. It's always about the who, not the what. So I love that, Jordan. You're an amazing guy, and I enjoyed spending time with you at Monterey. So, what would you, in meeting people, what's your biggest need in the next 12 months? Someone who's listening who could say, "Oh, I got that. I'll give that to Jordan because he needs
Yeah.
it."
Yeah, our biggest need is we get a lot of opportunities, and we wish we could do them all. But we're always looking for partners, whether that be operational in a certain area, somebody who wants to learn it, other capital partners who want to be involved. We're always looking for people that want to either learn it or partner with us in some form or fashion. So we have good deal flow, we have good systems and operations in place, that we are running. And so it's just more, if we can create more opportunity, we can't do this alone. So that's again going back to the who, not the what or the how.
Yeah, I might know a couple of capital raisers, some people
Yeah.
with some money that could work with you. So we'll talk at a later time. Um, Two questions. You seem like a guy who just jumps in and learns as you go. Tell me about your family, Jordan. Kids, marriage.
Yeah. I stay
I
busy.
surprised you with that question, right?
Well, just like staying busy. It's always something, you know. Um, yeah, I have three kids and my wife, and it's always a good time though.
It's always a good time.
Always a
Yep.
good time.
Yep. Jordan, while you're doing and learning and jumping in, were there some books that you read that you thought, that was a very valuable book, the information I got, and I think people should read this. It could be business or non. So, what book has impacted you?
Well, obviously there's several, right? And not everybody reads. Somebody likes to listen to audiobooks, or you can find stuff on YouTube and things of that nature. I think that there's been a couple. Think and Grow Rich is obviously kind of a go-to. Rich Dad Poor Dad's a go-to. Um, How to Win Friends and Influence People was really important for me. And then I think the latest one though is Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. That's one that I most recently read, and it really isn't. It's a great story. I mean, all of those books can teach you a lot of different things
Mhm.
and have been instrumental in kind of teaching me along the way.
Fantastic. When you were in Monterey at the Owners Club and you're working and talking to all these amazing people, I don't know about you, but I just walked around and going, oh my gosh, look at what these people are doing, downtown development, hotels, and, nursing homes and everything else under the sun, the sober house. And who in the Owners Club do you see yourself working with, and who do you want to work with? Like me, I was like, I really want to work with that person because I think I have something to give to them and they have something to give to me.
Absolutely. So you and I are going to be working together, right? So
I
that's
thought
one
this was
person.
a secret.
Well,
Okay. Yes, we are. We're partners and pretty soon in the next 12 months. So
yeah,
I'm
we're going to be
excited.
working on some stuff. A lot of
But
the people.
everybody wants to work with me, Jordan. So anybody else?
Yeah, of course. So I think that most of the people, I mean, Monterey was amazing, crazy. Just the level of people is like, I have to be careful because now I'm like, oh, I want to go do that. Now I want to do that.
Right.
So I have to be a little careful. But yeah, it's very, very inspiring what a lot of people are doing in there. And, like one person, we have a meeting this weekend with Laura Bierbauer, and we're looking at doing a hotel resort, wellness type resort in Portugal. And so we connected over some of that stuff. So her and I were talking about setting up a workshop and then identifying places, and that you don't get that a lot of places, right? You don't get that in a
Yeah.
lot of rooms. So people just thinking big, right? You go into your 9 to 5. I don't think that's a normal conversation, right?
No.
It's like, hey, we're gonna go create a health and wellness. Oh, where? Halfway across the world. Why? Just because we want to, right? So creating the room, creating the environment, and so the people were really inspiring. So, I mean, I would probably work with literally everybody in that room, but a couple of the people that we already are starting to form the relationships and build on and start to build things with.
I'm going to have to clarify. You made it sound like you just did it on a whim, but Jordan's really smart and he works with smart people. Portugal is actually a destination for a lot of retirees and people, both, expat here or even European. So let's learn Portuguese. And I want to go to this resort that Jordan Reyes has. But that's fantastic, man. That's a great location, great idea. Anybody who has information or has contacts in Portugal and wants to join Jordan, reach out to him and be part of the dream. Be part of this community, and you can tell your friends and family, yeah, I got a whatever you want to call it, the wellness resort in Portugal. I'm an owner of that. So you can brag about that at cocktail parties with other doctors and pilots. Jordan, part of the Owners Club, one of the things that we all do at Owners Club is kind of getting focused on what we want to do in the next 12 months and 5 years and so on. We've already talked about what you want in the next 12 months and what your needs are. Tell me more about your Mount Everest, if you would like to share that, and what motivated that, what instigated it, and
Sure. So my Mount Everest is to help 5,000 people reach their financial foundation, and that is different than financial freedom. So what that means to me is, you give a man a fish, he can eat for the day. You teach a man to fish, and he eats for a lifetime. And so I think where we get into situations of financial freedom, it's kind of this thing that's out there. It's 10,000, it's 20,000, it's whatever the number is for you, right? That's financial freedom. And it's kind of the point. What that symbolizes to me is, I've made it, I'm done, I'm going to kick back. And so not everybody's motivation is financial. And so with the financial foundation, what that does is it just allows you to get out of the week to week, day to day worry. That might be $2,000 for some people. It might be 5,000. It might be 500. I don't know what it is. It's going to be different for every person, but it's just getting the opportunity to be in that area where you can now act without worry, meaning it's not always financial. So some people's goal is just to spend more time with their friends, with their family. There might be a dad or a mom. For me personally, I want to be at every game, every practice, everything that my kids do. And so I created a lifestyle that allows me to do that. For some people, it's going on a mission trip. It's providing services for the homeless. It's, going overseas and building water wells or schools or Habitat for Humanity, right? So it doesn't always have to be financial, but you still, in this world, the money, the capital is a tool. So we still need it. And so just getting to that spot where I'm not having to always rely on my 9 to 5, and I'm worried about the next paycheck, and I'm worried about the next thing. So that is what that means to me.
wow, I love it. Financial freedom versus financial foundation. So financial foundation, to me, it sounds like education. You're teaching people how to use finances to achieve your freedom and achieve your goal. Are there someone you are going to work with as far as the educational course? Or if someone's listening and who has done financial foundation literacy could reach out to you. Are you working with anyone right now?
So there is certainly an education component to it. But if I can help one person buy it, we're doing this in a number of different ways. So the ways that we're doing it is, yes, through an education. And again, reach out to me on Instagram at @the_Jordan_Reyes. Happy to talk to anybody about a deal or their problem and try and provide a solution. That is only one aspect. So the RV parks allow affordability, right, in certain locations. So it turns into an affordable place that a family can call home and that they can leverage for the time being. Maybe it's a short time, maybe it's a little bit longer time, but an affordable option for them to start to build. And then another component is the businesses that we're buying. So we're making a concerted effort to grow those businesses in a way that allocates time and other non-monetary benefits for people. Same thing with kind of health, wellness, a little bit nicer. But anyway, so on the business side, for example, we are looking at changing people's schedules, starting earlier, giving some options that allow them. For instance, if you are a mom or a dad, You can be home at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, pick up your kids, go to the practice, do other things, and we just shift it around a little bit. So there's a number of different ways that we're doing it, and education is just one piece.
Yeah. Well, if I know Jordan Reyes, he'll definitely achieve that 5,000 goal for financial foundation, because you're just a doer. So I appreciate that. I kind of asked that question rhetorically because I knew you were going to say, no, it's not the material, it's the people, right?
Mhm.
That's what we were talking about is, work with Jordan Reyes and learn, and you'll be good with your education and foundation. Jordan,
Right.
I've asked ChatGPT for some typical questions asked on a podcast, put it in my Owners Club notebook.
Love it.
Why don't you pick a number and I'll ask you that question? And also another one where you can ask the next guest what they have to answer.
73.
73. Why 73, bud?
There's literally no reason.
I thought maybe it was like a birthday, June 3rd or something.
No.
All right. Jordan, what's something people often overlook about customer service?
Ooh. I think that people overlook customer service is big in our industry, in the RV park space. And it is your personality and it is a certain type of person that needs to be in customer service. So if you're hiring for people in that customer service role, they definitely need to be personable, easygoing, empathetic, all of these things. And it can't just be somebody you put in there because they have a little bit of extra time and you're just trying to fit somebody in. I've done that before. It doesn't work out well.
It does not. Yeah.
And so there is definitely somebody uniquely qualified for that role from the personality standpoint.
There are people who are just, their DNA is set where they watch and they go, okay, that customer is having difficulty using our product, and how can we help that? It's on us, not on them. There are
Yep.
just certain people wired that way, and that's fantastic. Jordan, do you have any questions you want to ask the next podcast, next guest, or do you want me to just ask a number?
I would say just ask them a number.
All
I
right,
think
what's
that's
the
the
number
best
you
way.
want me to ask them,
Um,
or you want them to pick it up, like you?
89.
89. Jordan wants the next guest to answer number 89. Got it, brother. Jordan, I really thank you for your time. Please let other Owner Club members know. I want to get to meet all of them and learn from them and do business with them. So thanks for your time. Have a wonderful day.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Sean.